I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace, and we're the Disruptors.
Today is going to be a great day because we're going to disagree.
Uh-oh. Dum, dum, dum.
This is it. I think we found a subject that we're just not going... Well, we're going to agree to disagree. How's that?
Okay. I'll allow that.
Okay, so I'm going to let you introduce what the subject is.
Okay, well, today we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about having your religious or political views in social media or putting it in print.
Okay, so what we want to do on this show today is I'm really excited about social media. And, you know, I've been doing it for some time now, learning about marketing and moving projects. So today we're going to talk about the effect that social media has when you've spoken. Now, you know, technology has really changed, folks. And unfortunately, it's got some good stuff, and then it has some bad effects. So we're going to actually take and put these effects in a different viewpoint. So I'm going to let you go ahead now because, you know,
that's very kind of you.
I've already started the show. I figured you were out, you know, gone down the street.
Well, yeah, I was visiting my local coffee shop.
That's good. Starbucks is always happy to see not you, but everybody, of course. So go ahead, Candace. I want you to start and let's talk about where social media has really affected things.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna go back to why. I want to lay the foundation of why.
You're going to start with why, okay?
And then we'll jump right into some other things.
All right.
So first of all, why did you get into business?
Well, I got into business naturally to make a profit.
Okay. So when you solve a problem?
Well, certainly.
And you get paid for that?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had client disagreements?
Oh, well, I've had a few, yes.
You ever have people not pay their bill?
There's a lot of chances of that that could have occurred, yes.
Okay, brilliant. Well, so far we're all on the same page. Okay, so one of the things that we want to talk about is the fact that when you put out your political or your religious views, you're not a Fortune 100 company. Am I correct?
Oh, no, I'm just a little entrepreneur guy.
All right, so when you do that, when large corporations have the ability to put out their political views, first of all, their brand, their customer base, they can withstand some profits and their loss statements and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they're so big, but actually, if you stop and think about it, except for their brand, the actual corporation becomes faceless because it's so big.
And that's very true, but you don't have that luxury in small business. So
no.
You are the face of your company.
Uh-oh.
Dum, dum, dum. So,
that's right, you are.
When you're the face of your company, first of all, you don't have that luxury because you don't want to put out your political or your religious views. One of the reasons is that people have a really hard time separating individuals from businesses.
Oh boy, isn't that the truth?
So when they automatically see, and we know this in our own community, when they automatically see you, whether you're out at the grocery store or, I'm not sure,
I'm not
going
sure
to your mailbox.
Going to the mailbox,
being the celebrity that you are.
Oh, I'm a big celebrity, yes.
They immediately...
cluster around me, of course.
And they equate you exactly to Kiba.
Right.
Okay.
With clubs and rocks and things of that nature, yes.
I was meaning to talk to you about the bruises on your face, so... I just thought maybe it was not having any sleep.
Well, no, it's the rocks and the steaks.
So, with not alienating people, it's not our job as business owners to draw firing lines. It's not our job to be the hall monitor. It's not our job to sit and point out how superior or inferior or any of those things to our fellow humans that are roaming around planet Earth. It's our job to solve a problem. We started a business because we could do that.
Now, when you say solve a problem, let's put it in the aspect of we're solving a problem. That means we're presenting a product that will help the consumer.
Exactly.
Unless or counsel the person.
Yes. Okay. Unless your product, unless you are a politician, a pastor, a bishop, or you have a nonprofit with the ties to whatever your religious viewpoints are.
I see. Okay.
So obviously that's perfectly fine to talk about because that's your industry.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if you're, let's say, baking cupcakes.
Okay, I'm baking. Oh boy. Yes, I don't bake them, but I certainly do test them.
So when you're baking cupcakes,
Right.
and you've got a cupcake business, you don't want to turn off customers.
Correct.
Two, you don't want to put your message out there and have you look like a hypocrite. Let's take, for example, which is a good example, and that's the bakery there in Oregon. Remember that couple?
Oh yes,
and that was called Sweet Cakes by
Sweet
Melissa?
Cakes, yes.
Okay. Well, it actually started in 2013, but it's a great example of people's religious views. And of course, I'm not saying don't have religious views. I'm not saying don't be spiritual. What I am saying in that is that it cost this company everything to have their viewpoint.
Okay. It did cost them everything, and we could really look at that in two lights. Number one, the right of an individual entrepreneur to, I guess, set policy of what they want to do under the freedom of our Constitution on how they want to run their business, as long as it's legal.
Right, except it was viewed as a hate crime. And they didn't have anything posted that stated that, we're not going to provide a cake for same-sex marriages. That was a spiritual or a religious view on their behalf.
Right.
Okay. And so, and I know where you're going to go. You're going to say, don't we have the right? No shirt, no shoes, no service.
Well, that's on every restaurant that you look at.
Sure.
Or the right to light up a cigar in the middle of a restaurant, or a pipe or a cigarette. We had to go to laws to stop that.
Yes, and in a lot of major grocery stores, they'll say when they have a special, we have the right to reserve limits. I mean, all of that. But,
right.
Okay,
Disclosure.
But,
yeah.
Sure. But they're talking about buying and selling. Okay? They're not talking about, if you are a white male that's 52 that doesn't make, $75,000 a year, we're not serving you.
Well, why would they do that to begin
Now we
with?
call that profiling now.
That would be, yes.
Okay.
That would be profiling.
So you're not, it's not good to do any of that. So we don't say, oh my gosh, what religion are you? Because we don't serve anyone that is a Buddhist. I mean, that's just absolutely not nonsense. You're drawing firing lines and alienating your customers, which doesn't make any sense as to why you started your business.
That's true. And unfortunately with social media, as you brought up, this happened back in 2016, which is still, when you go onto a platform and you make a statement or news picks it up and puts it on the new platforms that we have today, such as Facebook, you can't ever get it back. That will live with them forever.
Well, it cost them. Let's go back to Sweet Cakes by Melissa. It cost them literally everything. They had to file a bankruptcy. They lost their business. They lost their home because being a solo entrepreneur, they've tied up their personal assets with their business assets. I won't get into all of the legalities or any of that.
Bad business decision when they started.
It was horrific. I applaud them in a sense for standing up for their own convictions, but you really should weigh the cost. And the cost is going to be, when you alienate people, you're going to lose revenue. Okay?
Boston Tea Party. We dumped it all in the bay. Did we not? Did we not upset somebody, huh?
Well, of course, but that was for taxation without representation.
Okay, well, we can argue this on another show, but still, the point is, this country's been founded on, are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, the beliefs to be able to live and speak freely without retribution by some clown.
Okay, you have a personal life. Go and you can do that anywhere you want. You can go do rallies. You can go, join clubs. You can do anything that you want. But when you are the face of your company, I'm speaking particularly to small business in the local community. For example, had a copywriter, a wonderful, wonderful writer, and highly gifted, highly talented, put out her political views. And when I had some clients that were looking to hire a copywriter, I gave them a list of just a couple people that I personally prefer to work with. And what did they come back and say?
Oh, I don't like her.
Yes,
she
she
such
is
and
this.
such. Yeah.
So what happened was an absolutely huge account with sustainability tied to it never even hit the front door because of the political beliefs.
Well, that's true. And unfortunately, social marketing and the media puts to the point whereas if those facts are stated, they don't sit down and clearly think, wait a minute, she's an excellent copywriter. I want her services. But, instead of thinking clearly, you jump to, well, I just don't think I'm going to like her. Therefore, she couldn't do a job for me.
Well, and that's just it. And, unfortunately, we know where the burn is. The burn comes in when we lose dollar amounts, and now it hurts.
And revenue streams, that's correct.
Okay, and it's already hard enough for small businesses to get out and get beyond where they need to go. Why would we want to encompass or empower firing lines that actually diminish where we're at?
Well, we wouldn't. Of course not.
No.
We're not going to do that.
So the other thing, and that can happen when you put your views out, and that is that your message can and may be misinterpreted. For example, I want to look at World Vision. I know that's a larger corporation, nonprofit.
But the point there, what you're about to bring up, is the dramatic dissolve of what happened when this information leaked out on the internet.
Well, when they decided to revoke their policy, on hiring same-sex married individuals. First of all, for us here in the Pacific Northwest, especially in the Puyallup-Tacoma area, Federal Way area, World Vision is in Federal Way.
Right, they're a big driving point of Federal Way.
So for us, they're a local company.
Correct.
Whether they're a nonprofit or not, it's not the issue. But what we are looking at is the fact that when they announced that on March 24th, we're going back to 2014, over 7,000 calls to the call center and 2,000 sponsors canceled their sponsorships.
Wow.
Now, why is that important? Let me go back to the day after, March 25th, a total of 10,000 sponsors had canceled their sponsorships. Okay?
So
when they recanted their decision on the 26th, the calls stopped. But why is that important? Because, first of all, World Vision is funded by $195 million of our government support, $832 million in private donations, which means it actually comes down to 99% donor dependency.
So they have to have a good rapport and relationship with the donors and or the general public, or their revenue stream dries up.
Absolutely. So the whole, after everything is shaken out and everything, after they were done in March 27 of 2016, over 15,000 sponsorships were lost. The projection total that they believed was going to be 19,000 will be lost of revenue. But sponsorships. Okay, so 19,000 sponsorships. But here's the dollar amount. Over 6 billion, almost 7 billion with a B, billion dollars will be lost over that decision. And that's because they brought in a political and a spiritual or religious belief that contradicted what their base is, which means that brings me to this point. As small business, you need to know who your client is. If your client or customer comes in and they are, let's say they are health conscious, they want a healthy lifestyle.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. So you certainly wouldn't be bringing in the heart attack burger and try to sell it to them. That's loaded with grease. It has something like over 2,000 grams of fat. I mean, it's incredible. And start talking to them at how, you can gain weight if you that doesn't even appeal to them. Matter of fact, it would repulse them, right?
Well, of course it would repulse them to a certain degree.
So the same thing, if you're sitting there